Hey everyone, Candace Scalise here with CBS 21 Next. We have team coverage of the storm that happened on Sunday and now the aftermath. So we have our meteorologist on standby and all of our reporters checking out how things are going with snow removal, some frustrations people are experiencing, and just new information that you can use as you guys tackle your own snow removal. So we're going to check in with our reporters soon. I want to first start with our meteorologist, chief meteorologist, Tom Russell, and Ed Russo next to him. So guys, doesn't sound like we've hit anything close to above freezing recently, and maybe we're not going to anytime soon. What's going on?
Day 4, Candace. Okay. Day 4 now of not getting above freezing. So we haven't done that since Friday, and we're not going to do that until next week. So this is going to take us back to probably 2018 when we saw 14 days staying below freezing. So it's been a while since we've done this. National Weather Service, just another blanket cold weather advisory, mainly for the wind chills, which take us below zero. Ed can speak to that in a second, but you're right. There's not much relief here. Let's go ahead and show you the next graphic because you're looking for something that takes us above freezing. I think the coldest day actually comes in on Friday, so we kind of reinforce the cold that we have now. Overnight lows each night near zero, not out of the teens on Friday. We do start to rebound this weekend. We'll have to wait and see what the groundhog says on Monday. But Ed's working on a story on wind chill. So that's what gets us, right, Ed?
Yeah, so a lot of people, heat index and wind chill, what are those? They're basically apparent temperatures. They're what your body perceives as the temperature when the temperature is in fact not that. So in the case of wind chill, the way your body works is your body's always emitting heat. It's called convection. It comes off of your skin.
I'll demonstrate.
Yeah.
There's heat all around my fan right now.
Exactly. All around, and it goes that way, away from your body. But what traps it? What traps it, Tom?
Your clothes.
Your clothes. Your clothes trap that heat.
So if I took my clothes off, and I won't.
And you won't.
I do this.
Yeah. Keep it PG here, Tom Russell.
Yeah. This is
all of a sudden we've got exposed skin.
I'm freezing right here.
So we not only tell people to wear clothing that's, thick, but also several layers of clothing, because the more layers you have around your body, the more likely that convection or that heat
pockets
get trapped.
Heat. Yes, pockets of heat.
Yeah, so it's pockets of heat.
Can I put this back on?
Yeah,
freezing.
Please. Right. Thank you. All right.
You don't want to lose your arm.
Yeah, very tight here. All right, so a lot of heat. All right, so when you have wind, what that wind does is it blows that warm layer away from your body, and what your body's going to do is your body's registering the heat loss, so it has to do what it has to do to regain the heat. So your cardiovascular system works as much as it can to make sure that your body stays around a stable body temperature. So wind will make you feel colder, but more importantly, the wind chill, when you boil it down, is a measure of heat loss from your body. So when you have lower wind chills, you have a greater magnitude of heat loss.
So if you go outside and let's say your neck is exposed, you put on one of these. One of these, and that keeps you warm.
Seahawks, not
I like the Super Bowl promo there.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. They happen to be in the Super Bowl.
Not a Ravens.
This keeps you warm.
Yeah.
I can't believe he's wearing that.
So what kind of wind chills are we talking about then? Because we're already not warm, Ed, and then we have these wind chills. So it's going to be, what's it going to feel like outside?
Yeah. So tomorrow morning, it's not like the wind's going to be super strong, but
fortunately,
it's going to be just a 10-mile-an-hour wind with temperatures near zero can give you a wind chill between 10 and 15 below zero. So 10 and 15 below zero wind chill, when your body's perceiving the temperature is 10 below or 15 below, your body is getting more and more heat loss. And that heat loss can get you in a dangerous situation if you don't, insulate your skin and the exposed parts of your skin around your body. So it's not just, the wind chill actually is actually something that can be harmful to your body. It's not just what your body perceives, but it really exists. I mean, it's a measure of heat loss, and the more heat loss you have, that can run into some issues with your cardiovascular system, and you can get yourself into a bad situation. Frostbite, for instance, can occur within minutes in temperatures like that.
So we're talking about dangerous cold weather here.
Yeah.
It's not just cold, but if you're in it for a prolonged period of time, or if you don't take
frostbite, frostbite, hypothermia. Yeah, you just got to
Yeah.
monitor that time on time.
And have you ever noticed your fingers and your toes will
Yeah.
oftentimes be the first to feel like really painful? Have you ever been out in the cold long enough and it's almost painful, and you go into house to get your hands warmed up or your feet warmed up? That's because your body knows that your hands and your feet are important, but they're not as important as what's inside your torso, where you have all your vital organs. So your body is going to make sure that this part of your body remains stable in terms of healthy temperature, and it's going to take that heat away from your limbs, because technically you don't need your limbs to survive, but you need everything in here.
Right.
Reporters are freezing out there. Let's get to our reporters.
Yeah, so I should be nice to stop talking.
Ed can talk about science stuff all day long. So okay, that is really helpful to know. So we're gonna have some wind chills, below freezing temps, and basically just be careful and protect your homes too, as we're gonna be in this cycle for a while. We'll talk to Tom a little more tonight too, at 5 and 6 about this and what you can do at your home, and also just as you bundle up when you go outside. Sound good?
See ya.
Super. All right. Thanks, guys. Okay, let's check in with our reporters, because as they mentioned, they are just waiting outside in the cold as we're talking about this. So Maxine Rose, you today are focusing on the city of Harrisburg, because it sounds like residents there are just not happy with the progress that's being made, or lack thereof, with the snow that's still on the street. It's dangerous. People's cars are getting blocked in. So what are some of the issues, and then what solutions are being offered?
Yeah, Candace, I mean, one thing that I have to say, just starting off, right? I mean, this happened Sunday. It's now Tuesday. It hasn't been very long, but of course it's going to be frustrating. And especially if you're in a smaller packed area that is technically maybe considered an alleyway, a side street. That's Granite Street right there, for example. We stopped by there today. That's one street where people are getting pretty frustrated because they're actually getting blocked in by all that snow. And I'm not talking about just from your car, but actually, just passing through. So not just stuck like in the parking space, I mean. We went to them today, and from our understanding, from what these people have told us, it's that a street that crosses Granite is Penn Street, for example. So they say Granite Street was plowed very nicely, and they're very appreciative of that hard work there, but because of plowing down Granite Street, it actually pushed the snow to the side, blocking a street like Penn Street. And so we were out there today watching as people were literally digging their way out so that their car can simply just cross through that road there. So you can see them working away. They're just a lot. I mean, look, he's trying to pick it up with his hands even. So
one street plowed, another street blocked, and then people are blocked in from all that. And then that makes it heavier, as Ed was explaining yesterday, with the ice combined too. Yeah. So what is the city of Harrisburg saying about this?
So we tried to ask the mayor this today. We were then redirected to the fire chief, actually, Brian Enterline. Okay. He told us today, plow trucks have been out and about nonstop. He says there were 22 plow trucks deployed here in Harrisburg for the past several days. And he says, ultimately, the goal was to get all those main routes, those snow emergency routes, all cleared, and then of course to pass through all of those smaller streets, those alleyways. But unfortunately, they just weren't getting the most love to begin with. But he says, at the end of the day, they've all been touched. Like the city workers, public works, Parks and Rec have all done their job to clear out those spots. It's just unfortunate, sometimes there are going to be inconveniences with doing something like that. And those side streets are going to need a second, maybe even third run through. So we're seeing, that happen even now. We saw plow trucks in the city trying to go through, and that might be the case for, at least a week.
For a week. Yeah. Too much snow and not enough places to put it, it sounds like, especially as you're supposed to clear off your sidewalk, clear off the street. I know Chief Interline said just put it on the curb if possible.
Yep.
There's nowhere else to put it. So being extra careful. All right, super. Thanks for getting those answers for us and trying to get in contact with the mayor. We'll talk to Maxine a little more in depth. I want to move on to Lily Sexton, who's standing by now. Lily, tell us a little bit about your story today. What are you working on from a weather anchor? And by the way, Derek, her photographer, is in the back of the car. If you just see a random guy sitting there, he's working on her story for tonight. I feel like I should point him out so people aren't like, who's that random guy in the back seat? That's Derek. Hey, Derek. So he's working with Lily today. So what are you guys working on, snow related or storm related?
Right. So following what Maxine was saying, a lot of the people turn to the city to see how the storm is being cleaned up. But the city is reminding people that they all also have a big responsibility in terms of cleanup. Everyone's property has to be shoveled. And if it isn't shoveled, starting today in some areas, the city is going to be issuing fines to anyone that has snow or ice still blocking the sidewalks.
And this is in the city of Harrisburg?
So the city of Harrisburg said that they're going to start Thursday morning at 8 a.m. The city of York is already in place.
Okay. Gotcha. So the city of York is starting to hand out fines. I know yesterday they said, if you haven't gotten a fine in the past, we'll give you a warning. But that, I don't know how long those warnings are going to last. We're still waiting on clarification for that. So it's like, you need to get this done because Sunday we have the snow. Monday, the plan was to get this cleared. And then today is when York is starting to analyze things, Thursday in Harrisburg. Okay. So where are you guys now?
Right. So some people that we spoke to were saying that issuing fines so soon after the storm wasn't really considering people with disabilities, people that are elderly, people that struggle to clean their sidewalks off, especially in a short period of time. The city was saying, however, that they already are extending. It's only supposed to be a 12-hour period after the snow stops that they're allowed to start issuing fines. So they waited until Tuesday morning instead to already give that grace period. So they're not going to be extending the grace period even longer.
Interesting. Okay. And I know a lot of it is for safety. For example, if you're walking on a sidewalk, you slip and fall, you hurt yourself, the homeowner is then responsible because it's their property, that portion of the sidewalk. So I know it's a safety issue too, especially as school gets back in session in a lot of places, probably starting tomorrow, if not already today. You have kids walking to school and people are walking their dogs and stuff. So I understand the safety issue, but also the fact that, it's not that much time for more than a foot of snow. Anything else you want to add before I switch over to Andrew Klein?
No, I did also speak to some people today who said that they understand why these fees are in place. They want to see every street cleared as well as every sidewalk cleared. So I've spoken to people on both sides. Yeah,
I can see both points too. Has either city said how much the fine is and how they're going to issue the fine? Like if it will be emailed or snail mailed or left at your door? Have they clarified either of those?
There's going to be city inspectors walking around, so you'll find the fine at your door. And in most cases, it starts at $25.
Okay, so not terrible, but if you're living paycheck to paycheck, that $25 could be a meal on the table. So it could be a big deal for some folks. Okay, Lily, thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, so talking about fines, if you haven't cleared off your portion of the sidewalk in the city of Harrisburg and York, that's starting to be implemented today and Thursday. Let's check in with Andrew Klein, who is continuing our team coverage today. So Andrew, what are you working on?
Yeah, so I spoke to a couple of fire chiefs today because, we saw some information. Pennsylvania, the #1 state in the country in fire fatalities, civilian fire fatalities, that is, a year ago. So we spoke to them a little bit about that. But the main thing that I spoke to them about was the impact that the cold weather has on what firefighters do every day. So not just the Pennsylvania side of it, but also really directly, how does this impact them? Because it impacts everybody. Of course, it's cold outside. We don't want to be outside, but these are people that don't have a choice. If you call 911, somebody is coming to help you out. And it's these guys here that have to do it every single day, multiple hours a day, multiple calls a day.
So what did they say? How is it impacting them?
Right. So there are the more clear things. So obviously when you go outside, it's cold. You're restricted. It's not as easy to be walking around or exercising or anything like that. When you're fighting a fire, first of all that strenuous activity in the cold is extremely difficult. Those are the things that we kind of understand. That's going to impact everybody. The
Yeah.
other things, though, firefighters have to deal with water all the
Yeah. I
entire
was
time they're
thinking
holding
that.
those hoses. That water, it is so cold right now that water can basically freeze on impact. So as they're putting out the fire, now you're dealing with another problem. Now it's slippery and icy as you're going into that house or right on the outside of that house trying to fight that fire. And then when the hoses get pulled off, so they have to connect the hose to the hydrant. When you're pulling it off, there's still water inside that hose that is also freezing because it's so cold. Then you can't roll the hoses up. That causes another a whole series of issues for them.
Wow. Okay. So fighting fires in below freezing temperatures with wind chills is not optimal for them because of all the challenges it creates. And I know there was a firefighter yesterday hurt from slipping on ice, which makes sense.
Yeah.
The water's freezing and then you're trying to walk around with all your gear on with your hoses. So I guess there's not really any solution other than being extra careful with this.
Yeah, there is not a clear fix. And there really, it's not that there's really meant to be a clear fix. It's not a kind of
Right.
a wishy-washy, you can't go back and forth on it. It just is, it's how they
It just
have to
is
deal
what
with
it
it. But
is.
it is certainly a huge challenge. And one of the interesting things that we talked about today was I asked them if it was harder to work in these conditions or when it's like really hot in the
Right.
summer, because that can also cause difficulty. The same way your body is very restricted when it's super cold out and breathing is difficult. When it's hot, it's so much more added heat. Now that heat's not going to change how the fire
Right.
is put out or how the fire spreads. I actually asked about that today because I was curious. But the exhaustion factor, the dehydration factor in the summer is very different. So extreme weather is a problem either way, hot or cold. Extreme weather is going to cause some issues. One more thing I want to add, Candace,
Yeah.
it's it's really hard to drive in the snow in a regular car. My car is four-wheel drive. It's tough to drive in the snow. Imagine having to drive a fire truck through the snowy streets that Maxine and Lily have been showing us. We've seen on our drives day in and day out to work. And
Right.
sometimes they've got to put the chains on the tires. That slows them down. There's a speed restriction when they have the chains. They can only go, I think it was 25 or 30 miles an
Oh,
hour.
wow.
So
Okay.
they're already slowed down. Now they're in the snow. It's harder to turn and it's harder to speed up and slow down. And if people are stuck in the snow, that's slowing things down as well. So the actual driving is just as much of a potential issue here as is the icy water, because it takes them more time to get to a fire, and then the
Right.
calls can build up as well.
Gosh, yeah. I guess the best thing we can do as renters and homeowners is just making sure that we're unplugging those, electric heaters and making sure that like our electric blankets are okay. Just like doing all the checks, all the homeowner things for us, but also for them as they're responding to these emergencies, because the less they have to go to, the better for their health and everything like that. So
Absolutely. Education was something they talked about. And the other thing was they said, if you see something, you say something. So if they were to respond to a call and they go into a house and they see these smoke detectors aren't working, that's something they have to report. If they see a space heater plugged into an extension cord when they're, doing a call for something else, they've got to let somebody know. You can't plug those portable heaters. They got to go straight into the wall. Extension cords how you lead
Right.
to an electrical fire. Not only are they dangerous because if, maybe you flip the blanket over when you're going to sleep and they land on the space heater, boom, catches on fire. The electrical aspect can also be extremely dangerous as well.
Yeah, and I feel like at least in a lot of the fires that we've covered, a lot of it seems to be electrical. Whether that's
Yeah.
wiring inside the home or extension cords or whatever. So,
Yeah.
really interesting there. So we're certainly thinking about our first responders as they face these challenges. It's just honestly, it's a tough time with
Yeah.
this winter, right? Like I don't know that it's quote unquote easy for anybody. Everybody has their different challenges that they're facing with the snow, with emergency respond, whatever it be. So I guess you just got to be thankful for the little things, right? Especially when you're trucking through this winter. So Andrew, thank you so much. Appreciate it. We're going to have team coverage tonight on CBS 21 News at 5, 6, and 11 o'clock on CBS 21 and at 10 o'clock on the CW. So we'll go a little more in depth with all of our reporters just to get a little more information about who they talk to. We're actually going to hear from some of the folks they talk to as well. And we're also going to talk to Chief Meteorologist Tom Russell about another storm that's heading along the shore in Pennsylvania. So think like New Jersey, Philadelphia area. They've been watching it over the past few days, but haven't really said anything because it was too far out. So much different from the storm that we had on Sunday. But they're going to be talking about that as well, just providing some clarification because it doesn't look like it's going to hit Pennsylvania, at least central PA, that is head on. So we'll get more information about the track of that next storm coming up over, next Sunday it would be. So a little less than a week from now. But yeah, so we have team coverage on all of the snow removal and basically just the impacts and how you as a homeowner or renter are responsible. If you are renting, it's a good idea to contact your homeowner and just ask them questions about what your obligation is as a renter versus what theirs is as a homeowner. They might be the one responsible for clearing the pathway on the sidewalk. And also just a reminder to check on your neighbors too, because as Maxine mentioned, you could have elderly neighbors, or you could have a neighbor with disability who simply just can't get out and do it. There were 3 deaths in Lehigh County from snow shoveling on Sunday between the ages of 60 and 84, and 60 is pretty young, right? So just a reminder too, if you are shoveling and stuff, make sure to take breaks. I know that one of the issues too that we have seen, at least at my home, is after the snow blower, which I hired help for, it turned into ice. And so trying to get that ice off the sidewalk too, so kids can walk to school and stuff like that is also a challenge. So certainly challenges, but we're going to help our neighbors and stick together with this. And here at CBS 21, we are going to do our best to provide you with the most important, updated, helpful information to make this winter easier for you, because I know for some it can be really tough. As beautiful as the snow is coming down, the aftermath can be really tough for folks trying to clean up and everything like that. So you can always email us and reach us on any social media platform, and we'll do our best to get back to you. And in the meantime, just stay safe and stay kind. And we'll see you guys next time. Thanks for joining us for our 21 Next. I'm Candace Scalise.